Okay folks, gotta go pay the bill at the parts store. Hey folks, this is Mike from KEI Fabrication. This is my LS swapped Mazda B2200. Alright, now we got a design chair. I can do some highly classified scientific calculations. Alright folks, I just finished replacing those China stainless braided lines with the high pressure regular transmission cooler hose, and put the bumper back on and the grill back on. Just topped off the transmission fluid. So the only component that I haven't replaced in the entire truck is the front brake lines. So I'm going to go for that now. The brake lines are probably original equipment, so they're 27 years old, lots of miles. So we're going to jack it up and throw the new lines on and just cross that off the list in terms of a remaining safety issue. When you know, this thing's on the road course, it's doing close to 120 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway. I don't want a 27-year-old brake hose to be the source of me taking it into the Armco barriers at the entrance to turn 1. So, alright, so let me do that and we'll see what's next on the list. Alright, so the reason for taking the axe to the body here, this inner fender, is this little shiny mark right here is with the increased steering angle. The tire was rubbing on it at full lock, so just barely, but as you can see, that's double layer sheet metal, and well, that's probably 2 pounds worth I just cut off, so we'll take it. I figured I'd get the cutoff wheel going while the old hose was still on there, because I'm not going to lie, when I did the passenger side I put a little nick in the hose, and that's why I'm replacing the brake hoses today. I managed to find the right size wrenches to undo the brake line up top, and we'll pull the retainers out and then we will put the new line on. This is a really stupid, unnecessary thing. So the whole point of this exercise is to see how heavy this 78 Chevy C2500 bumper that I put on 6 years ago to get the purpose of, yes, getting a bumper because the Mazda one was rotted, but it was still a 4-cylinder, but I wanted the trailer hitch. Now obviously priorities have changed. I'm looking to take some weight off the back of this thing, so I'm trying to see how much this bumper weighs compared to the Ford Ranger bumper, and then I'm going to put one of the two bumpers on a diet and see what I can come up with for a net savings in weight. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's darn close to 60 pounds. So that's the 78 C2500 bumper. Let's see what the Ford Ranger bumper weighs. Alright, so the Ranger bumper is about 41 pounds, but I just threw this on here because it's I need to have the box tube type receiver on this. So if I put that on there, I'm at about 40 pounds. And if I take this off of there, in other words, just go with the bolt-on style ball, I'm at 35 pounds. So with a little bit of work, I think I can knock another 5 pounds out of this. I've got some corner brackets here, probably a pound a piece. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the brackets, but I think I can eliminate these altogether to fabricate something that attaches to the truck. So I think I can save 30 pounds on this mess. Alright, so the Ranger bumper is just sitting here on the back of the truck right now. You can see there's a pretty good gap between the body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this away so it's closer to the body here, and it'll tuck in that recessed area where the license plate used to be. And when it's all put back together, it'll be tucked in nice. I will be removing almost the entire length of this strip of metal, so that'll reduce some more weight, and I'll raise it up a little bit as well, so the bottom of the bumper is probably flush with the bottom of the roll pan, because it's sticking way down below it right now. So it's going to come up a good 3 inches, go back 2.5, and then we'll attach it to the stock Mazda brackets. Alright, I've got it marked here, so I'm going to hug the body pretty well, and then I'm going to trim off this just a little bit, so when this comes up against the body, this doesn't bottom out on the rear roll pan of the Mazda. So I'm going to get the 4.5 inch angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, and I'm going to leave the black pad on there. Some of the retainers are going to get removed, but I'll probably either pop rivet this on in the areas that it becomes disconnected, and we'll see how it fits. And I do have to weld an additional bracket on each side to reach out to the stock Mazda bumper brackets, but I want to check fitment before we do anything crazy. Well, there it is, folks. The Ford Ranger body has a little bit more of a bump out here, but I was able to smooth it out, transition it to the Mazda, and as I said, I cut it in a little bit to reach in to the recessed part of the roll pan, and there we have it over to the other side. And other than some minor leveling up, that's about what it's going to look like. Now let's see what we can do for the weight reduction. I have a couple of simple brackets out of some 3/16 plate I'm going to put in there. So that's going to add a couple pounds. But anyway, let's see what the weight reduction is after I get it all dressed up and ready to install. Alright, so I just got finished with some cardboard aided design here, CAD, to develop the bracket that's going to go on the bumper, and this will get fastened, probably welded, maybe bolted to the stock Mazda brackets. Got all the shrapnel from my tracing and cutting. To sneak down on it just took a few tries, maybe 10 minutes to come up with a really nice fitting gusset. I've always wondered, has anybody tried one of those new contour gauges that you can push into place? This is an inside. I was just wondering if anybody's using those in fabrication and how they work out. I'm intrigued by them. My fear is because it's made out of plastic, being in a metal fabrication shop, it's just going to get weld spatter all over it and grinding on it, and it's going to soon be destroyed by the environment that it lives in. Anyway, if you have any comments on that contour gauge, I've seen ads for them on YouTube, and I've seen some other like boat fabrication people using them to find the radius and things of the different areas that they have to create sheet molded fiberglass panels or whatever and trim them. So anyway, let me know if you have any information on that. Alright, I had to improvise to find some material to make the brackets for the bumper, but this is brand new, it's the right thickness. I just finished tracing out the template, and now I'm going to cut them out on the bandsaw. So because these brackets are going on the inside of something, and I traced them out, I'm going to cut to the inside of the line instead of the outside of the line. Alright, so with very little effort, the template transferred to the steel and then cut out. It fits in there really nice. Both sides are in there. And the material that I used is the drop from making my little ramps for the extension on my car trailer. So whatever I paid for those is continuing to pay off here. So the plan is to mock the bumper up on the back of the truck, clamp these into place and tack them on the truck, and then remove them. And if I have the ability to drill holes in this and drill holes in the bracket, I'm going to try and make that happen, because when I cut the existing bumper off, it was really a pain. I went through several Sawzall blades and everything else just trying to get it loose. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to move over to the truck now, over there, and mock this thing up where it belongs, and hopefully be tacking these brackets in place. I've shined up the metal where the welding is going to take place with plenty of forgiveness left and right. And we'll see how it goes. Alright, so the new bumper with the hitch on it, the bolts are in it, and I had to reinforce some of the area in the back because I extended the bumper brackets way beyond what the original intention was, and some of the integrity of the bumper was compromised with a little bit of rust here and there. So anyway, it's going to get a coat of paint on the inside, and I'm going to throw some paint on the bumper brackets. I was able to make it a bolt-on. I added these little extensions down below the factory bumper bracket to reach, so I'll have 2 1/2-inch bolts on each side, and once it's painted, I don't have the right hardware to pull it together. I've got like super long hardware. I need to get like 1 inch. These are 1.5 inch, 1.25. I need to get 3/4 or 1 inch. Hook up the plate lights and put my license plate on, and this should be done. I didn't really intend it. It wasn't on the original list, but the rear bumper was something that I was just wondering about, and it ended up being a reality. You can see that I've added a category for weight reduction, and I took 20 pounds off the front, 5-mile-an-hour bumper brackets and things like that. Hopefully you saw that on the new front bumper video. And then the rear, I just took 30 pounds out just by changing the rear bumper. So we're down to 50 pounds. It's a 1/2 tenth. I'm shooting for everything I can get. So, all right, on to the next. Dang, I melted the Sasquatch sticker. Alright, so what I decided to do while I had this thing up in the air is I put a jack point here so the cup of the jack will stay centered on here, trying to reduce the danger. I also put a bolt-in bar so when I remove the bumper it'll come off, and then this bar is connected to the crossbar over there. The reason why I did that is when I pulled on this it was really flexing bad. I stuck a receiver in there and hung off it, and it was flexing pretty bad. So to prevent that, I used some 065 DOM tubing and welded it up top. Put a slip fit connection here with a 1/2-inch bolt. So it's rock solid now. And the reason also why I did that is that bar up there is a heavy wall piece of tubing that the battery bracket is hooked to. And, you know, dreaming a little bit, if I wanted to make a slip-in parachute mount, I could make the chute itself attach to the slip-in receiver here, and then the chute mount would come off of that. So, not that I need one. Will I ever be doing 145 1/4 with this? Not sure. So, but if I do, it's going to get pulled on the center of the vehicle. And this is just slightly below the center of mass, so it should be a stable deployment of the chute. So the other thing I did was I got the safety push for drag racing. It's in the off position now. And some of the road racing and other sanctioning bodies want these terminals to be isolated in case of a crash. So I took a piece of PVC tubing, put the connections through, and now I can still access them through the end. But if I get in a wreck, chances are this will insulate it from all of that. And the push-pull mechanism is up here. I don't know if you can see that or not with the lack of lighting. So anyway, that wraps up this project.